In the world of anarchy and, the disillusion of everything, it seems like, it's nice to see a nice, romantic, fun comedy come out. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about Bros. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Movie Emporium's movie review of Bros, the newest film from director Nicholas Stoller. So, Bros is a very traditional romantic comedy. You've seen it before in quite a few other films. It actually stars Billy Eichner, who helped write the script. It's about a character named Bobby, who is played by Eichner, who is an LGBTQ individual who is a famous podcaster, has millions of views, but he's also trying, for the most part throughout this movie, to open up an LGBTQ museum to show the kind of plights in history and the problems that the LGBT community has gone through, which is very heartfelt in a lot of respects. But he's also a very cynical individual. He even makes fun of his own individuality when it comes to being gay and stuff like that. And he doesn't believe in love. He goes on relationships, has sex. He's just a very kind of dissuaded or jaded individual. And because of his kind of dissuaded and jaded nature, he decides he's only going to go to a rave to find somebody on Grindr and stuff like that. And he comes across a character named Aaron, who's played by Luke Macfrlane, who is an individual that is very handsome and beautiful and also very buff and seems like a meathead. So the idea of this kind of smart, very jaded individual, very down on himself, played by Eichner, and then you have this kind of guy who is also a little bit jaded, but also sees the world in a different spot, who's played by Macfrlane. And you got the pairing of a very traditional romantic comedy where these two individuals may not seem like the perfect pair, but as the movie moves along, there is a lot of stuff they have in common, as well as their differences will, come into the forefront, as you expect in these types of movies. So Judd Apatow and of course Nicholas Stoller have worked in quite a few movies together, like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Get Him to the Greek. I think Nicholas Stoller worked on one of the Muppet movies, if I remember right. He's very good and very underrated when it comes to being a director because he knows very much with the writers he works with, which include like Jason Segel and stuff like that, how to craft really good dynamic characters. So the idea of doing something like this with two gay characters in the same scenario is not really that different. It's not really that unique for Nicholas Stoller. So I definitely, after I found out Nicholas Stoller was directing this, was very much more interested because even with, Billy Eichner, who of course is famous for his walk on the streets bits, could craft something really fun and entertaining. So I went to this movie going, okay, I'll watch it. A few people who have seen it already that I know that said they really enjoyed it, but I still have to do an honest review of this movie. And so with that said, my honest review is I really enjoyed this movie. I really did. It's a very traditional, very, what I would call predictable comedy. It does a lot of the stuff you've seen a billion times before, whether it be like a Tom Hanks Meg Ryan movie or a Billy Crystal Meg Ryan movie, or even, like I said, the other Nicholas Stoller movies. It does beat by beat by beat. Like I said, with these films, they're not really as oftenly done as you expect. I think Marry Me was the last one that really kind of delved into this type of material, but they're very hard to do because they can be very boring and rote and stuff like that. But I really feel that Billy Eichner really kind of delivers on a performance here. I think he does a really nice job. I think Luke Macfarlane does a really nice job as somebody who's just kind of conflicted in a relationship. And then once again, Billy Eichner is an individual that's playing the more rambunctious, more outspoken individual. So he's that type of character. But there is a kind of heartwarming heartbreak, but there's also a very sweet romantic relationship to the story. And the simple fact that, it's, even though it's about two gay individuals, the thing about the story, especially the way it's produced and written and stuff like that, is it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, bi, whatever you are in this world, this story is relatable to anyone because one, it is a very just about love and romance and about pushing past the boundaries of the difficulties of your comfortability zone and stuff like that. It's also about trying to relay a message that is very, what I would call taboo for a lot of people. And it doesn't mind also being very raunchy in a lot of respects. So it's just a very fun, entertaining, R-rated, romp fest in a lot of respects with the romantic kind of twinge to it. And there's some other great characters, side characters that are part of Billy Eichner's crew who are trying to open this museum. There's like Jim Rash, who's a famous comedian, worked in Community, won an Oscar. There's Dot Marie Jones. There's also, Miss Lawrence. There's all these characters that pop up. Harvey Fierstein pops up for like a couple minutes romance in this movie. And it's just a movie that really has a lot of heart and a lot of emotion to it, and really feels like an authentically real movie where you can kind of relate to these characters, because this is a movie just about romance and about how people can move past that comfortability. But, you know, I love this world that Billy Eichner represents, and like how you know, how open he is with a lot of things he says, and how, you know, he's willing to push the envelope. He's a lot like, you know, one of those individuals like with Russell Brand or something like that, that will go to those different steps and those different worlds to kind of present a message that is really kind of thought-provoking in a lot of respects, but also very funny and kind of, you know, goofy and kind of, you know, oh my god, I can't believe they went there. But to kind of go into a little bit of negativity for this movie, it is very predictable, and it's kind of, you know, trajectory of where it's going to land by the time the movie's over with. It's very, you know, it doesn't really do anything different. It really plays it safe. I think, you know, some of the characters in this movie, as fun as they are, feel very tropey in a lot of respects, and that's not, you know, taken away from the movie itself. That is what the thing about these types of films are, especially romantic comedies like this, is they are following on the footsteps, and it's very much prevalent in this movie of like When Harry Met Sally or, you know, Sleepless in Seattle. It's really following in the footsteps of those types of films where it's two individuals in two different worlds doing, you know, trying to be together and just kind of falling apart in a lot of respects. And I do feel like, you know, Billy Eichner does go a little over the top sometimes in this movie, but I think, you know, once the movie gets past this like first act and kind of settles down into its second and third act, I think this movie, that's when this movie really shines. But it just takes a little bit to get there, and this movie is a little bit longer than it needs to be. It actually repeats some beats that it really shouldn't repeat a lot of times, but I think in the end it's still an entertaining movie with a lot of great messages, and it does approach the world of LGBTQ in a very fun, entertaining light that realizes what it's doing and realizes what it is, and uses characters in a very progressive but very fun manner. So it's allowing itself to make fun of itself, but yeah, it allows like individuals to, allows them to kind of look into themselves and that type of thing. So even if you are not gay, you can still see some relatability to this movie. So overall, to kind of conclude this review, I really enjoyed this movie. Yes, it has this very predictable tropes, but I think it's a movie that if you love these types of films, you're going to love this movie. It doesn't matter the subject matter or not. It's that type of film, but it has a lot of heart. It has a lot of, social commentary, but it also has a lot of passion when it comes to its characters and how Billy Eichner and Stoller, who, wrote the script, really participate and all that good stuff. But it also has a really great performance from a cameo from Deborah Messing, which I thought was really great. So anyways, with that said, that is going to be my take on Bros. So thank you so much for watching. Comments below, are you interested in seeing this movie? If you have seen this movie, what do you think? But if you have not, let me know what your favorite romantic comedy is. So with that said, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.